Welcome back, everyone. LanceScurvX here, the Scurv podcast, LanceScurvX.com, the site you need to go to and sign up to get all of our uncensored content. The question that I have for you is, what happens when you become better than they expected? Why your own people won't clap for you? Have you ever noticed that? There comes a painful moment in life when you finally realize that the people closest to you are sometimes the very ones who struggle the hardest to support you. That truth cuts deep because we grow up believing that family, friends, and familiar faces are supposed to be the first ones cheering when we rise. But life has a strange way of exposing reality. I'm used to it. The more people know your past, the harder it becomes for them to accept your transformation. They become emotionally trapped inside an outdated version of who you used to be. That's deep, but let's talk about it. People who watched you struggle often become mentally married to your struggle. They remember every mistake you made, every failure you suffered, every insecure moment you experienced, and every time you doubted yourself. So when you begin to grow, elevate, and move with confidence, it creates confusion in their minds. They start feeling uncomfortable because the person they once looked down on is no longer standing in the same position. Your growth forces them to question themselves. The truth is harsh, but it needs to be said without sugarcoating it. Familiarity kills respect. When people become too familiar with you, they stop seeing your value clearly. I've noticed this. They stop appreciating your wisdom, your talent, your discipline, and your evolution because in their mind, you are still the same old person they once knew years ago. Meanwhile, strangers meet you where you are today. They judge you based on your current energy, your present mindset, and your visible growth instead of your old scars. That's why strangers can sometimes support you harder than people who have known you your whole life. Strangers are not emotionally attached to your history. They do not carry old memories of your failures. They do not constantly replay your weakest moments in their heads. They simply see what is standing in front of them today. But the people close to you often remain stuck in the past because accepting your evolution means they must also confront their own lack of growth. That's exactly what it is, but nobody wants to say anything. And this is where jealousy quietly enters the room. Not always loud jealousy, not always obvious hatred. Sometimes it comes disguised as silence, distance, fake support, sarcasm, or lack of enthusiasm. Some people cannot celebrate your growth because your growth reminds them of everything they refuse to do in their own life. Your discipline exposes their laziness. Your healing exposes their unresolved pain. Your courage exposes their fear. Your progress becomes a mirror they never wanted to look into. One of the greatest battles you'll ever fight is the battle against old perceptions. People build mental prisons around others every single day. Once they decide who you are, many of them refuse to update that image no matter how much you evolve. That's why some people still treat grown adults like the insecure teenagers they once were. It's why some families still disrespect the person who transformed their life years ago. Their minds are frozen in time. You have to understand something important, and this is funny to me, that's why I'm giggling. Many people feel emotionally safe when they stay the same. Your old identity gave them comfort. Your struggles made them feel superior. Your confusion made them feel secure. Your lack of direction allowed them to avoid facing their own problems. But once you start changing, improving, and rising higher, the emotional balance shifts. Suddenly, they no longer feel comfortable around you because your life is moving in a direction that forces them to confront their own stagnation. It's as simple as that. Growth changes relationships. Some people love the broken version of you because that version never challenged them. That version asked for approval. That version tolerated disrespect. That version settled for less. But the healed version of you becomes dangerous to unhealthy people because healed people start setting boundaries. They stop begging for validation. They stop shrinking themselves to make others comfortable. They stop apologizing for their ambition. This is why support often disappears when success appears. People love dreams when they think those dreams will never become reality. They clap while you're struggling because your struggle entertains them. But once your vision starts to become real, the atmosphere changes. The silence grows louder. The energy shifts. Suddenly your accomplishments become inconvenient because now they must acknowledge that you actually became who you said you would become. Some people will never say they are jealous because jealousy does not always look angry. Sometimes jealousy looks emotionally disconnected. Sometimes it looks passive-aggressive. Sometimes it looks like people ignoring your accomplishments while celebrating strangers for doing the exact same thing. Isn't that something? Sometimes it looks like people refusing to share your work, refusing to encourage you, or pretending not to notice your growth. That silence speaks volumes. You don't even have to ask. You know exactly what it is. The painful truth is that not everybody is assigned to go with you into your next season of life. Some people were only meant to know the old version of you. Some people were only connected to your survival season, not your thriving season. And once you understand that, you stop taking their lack of support personally. You stop chasing applause from people emotionally committed to misunderstanding you. Every level of growth comes with separation. That separation may not always be physical, but it becomes mental, emotional, spiritual. You begin realizing that certain conversations no longer feed your mind. Certain environments no longer inspire your soul. Certain relationships begin to feel heavy instead of healthy. You start noticing how much energy you wasted trying to convince people to see your value. The reality is that people who truly support growth are secure within themselves. Healthy people are inspired by your evolution instead of threatened by it. Mature people can celebrate another person's success without feeling smaller inside. But insecure people struggle with that. Your rise creates internal pressure because it reminds them of their excuses, their fear, and their wasted potential. And this is why protecting your mental health becomes critical. A healthy mind truly is a healthy life. If you consistently surround yourself with people who minimize your growth, dismiss your vision, and emotionally resist your progress, it slowly poisons your spirit. Negativity is contagious. Doubt is contagious. Limitation is contagious. The wrong environment can slowly suffocate your purpose. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is stop expecting support from familiar people. Stop forcing people to understand your journey. Stop exhausting yourself trying to prove your worth to those committed to underestimating you. Your value does not decrease because somebody refuses to recognize it. Diamonds remain valuable even when surrounded by blind people. There are people in this world waiting to appreciate your wisdom, your creativity, your voice, your experiences, and your purpose. But you cannot fully connect with those people if you remain emotionally chained to the opinions of those who only see your past. Growth requires emotional courage. It requires letting go of the need to be validated by everybody who knew you before your transformation. Life becomes more peaceful once you stop interpreting silence as rejection. Sometimes silence is simply confirmation that you have evolved beyond the comfort zone of the people around you. Their inability to celebrate you says more about their internal battles than it says about your worth. Never forget that. Too many people feel guilty for evolving. They feel guilty for changing their mindset, changing their habits, changing their goals, and distancing themselves from negativity. But growth is not betrayal. Healing is not betrayal. Choosing peace is not betrayal. Sometimes the greatest act of self-respect is refusing to remain trapped inside environments that no longer align with your purpose. You are not obligated to stay small so others can feel comfortable. You are not required to dim your light to protect insecure egos. You are not responsible for carrying people who refuse to carry themselves. Everybody has a choice in life. Some choose growth, while others choose excuses. Some choose discipline, while others choose comfort. Some choose evolution, while others choose denial. The sad reality is that many people never change because change requires accountability. It requires honesty. It requires sacrifice. It requires confronting painful truths about yourself. And not everybody has the courage to do that work. So instead of growing, they criticize those who do. Instead of improving, they project negativity onto people trying to elevate their lives. But you cannot allow bitterness from others to stop your progress. The world already has enough broken dreams, wasted talent, and buried potential. Do not become another person who abandoned greatness because familiar people refuse to clap. Keep building, keep growing, keep healing, and keep evolving. The strongest people in this world are often the ones who learn how to walk forward without constant support from those closest to them. They learn how to validate themselves. They learn how to trust their vision even when others doubted it. They learn how to protect their peace while continuing to move with purpose. At the end of the day, your life belongs to you. Your purpose belongs to you. Your growth belongs to you. And sometimes the silence around your success is not punishment. Sometimes it's proof that you finally broke free from the mental cage people placed around you years ago. Keep evolving anyway. That's the only way to go. I know this personally, and I'm very passionate about this. And when I see others trying to smother the potential and the growth of others, I'm very outspoken about it. Be careful of the mental manipulation around you, because others who you've known for years refuse to grow. LanceScurv out. On to the next one. Much love to you. Thank you for coming here. And let me hear your comments on this topic, because I'm quite sure that I'm not the only one who had to go through that. And I'm glad, because it made me stronger. Peace.